the presidency in 1972. She was also the first African-American woman to become a member of Congress. So she was in Congress as well. And this is just a snippet from my one-woman show. On an island, surrounded by love. No electricity, just the nature up above. We play in the sand, enjoy the land. My carefree life changed. Mama and Papa sent for us to return back to America. At the age of 10, I returned to New York from Barbados at the height of the Great Depression, a severe time of economic hardship, particularly for Black people. Now my father, he worked in a bakery. He loved to read books and newspapers. He talked about politics and social issues. Oh man, I absorbed every moment of it, especially at dinner time. Do you see this? This President Roosevelt is a master. This new program will bring in more work. It is called the New Deal. You see, Franklin Roosevelt was my father's hero. Yes, you see, there is nothing to fear but fear itself. Listen up, Shirley. This is the way to power in this country. Politics. Listen, girls, I wrote a song for you. I'm going to tell you about the New Deal. Hey, I'm going to tell you about the New Deal. Hey, hey. Later, I attended and graduated from Brooklyn College. Became a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Inc. The sisterhood inspired me to become active in campus and community groups, which sparked my interest even more in politics. Later, after a successful run of being a teacher, my passion for being in public service grew. Now, it was the mid-60s, and the civil rights movement was at height. So, I decided to run for the New York State Assembly. All across the nation, activists were working together for equal rights for all Americans. And in 1964, I was elected into Congress. My passions will take me all the way to Congress. My early days in the House of Representatives, I received remarks and jokes. Every morning, an older gentleman would come up to me and he'd say, "Mrs. Chisholm, how does it feel to make 42.5? I say, "How does it feel to make 42.5? Which was my salary amount. I said, "First of all, since you can't respect me each morning when you see me, vanish. And second, know this, every time that I show up, I am paving the way for others to make 42.5. Now, traditionally, in the House of Representatives, the more senior members are recognized to speak. So naturally, every time I rose to speak, several senior members rose too. Now, this went on for a while until one day, I got out of my seat, walked down to the front of the House, so the Speaker had no choice but to let me speak. Mr. Speaker, when a young woman graduates college, she is likely to have a frustrating and even demeaning experience ahead of her. If she walks into an office for an interview, the first question she will be asked is, "Do you type?" Now there is a calculated system of prejudice that lies unspoken behind that question. also for another minority. Society discriminates against blacks as well, on the same basis that they are different and inferior. The happy little homemaker and the contented old darky were both produced by prejudice on the plantation. Now, as a black person, I am no stranger to race prejudice. But the truth is, in the political world, I have been far often discriminated against because I am a woman than because I am black. Prejudice against black people is becoming unacceptable. Although it will take years to eliminate it, it is doomed because slowly white America is beginning to admit that it exists. Prejudice against women is still acceptable. There is very little understanding and the immortality involved in the double pay scales and the classification of the better paying jobs as for men only. Now, more than half of the population of the U.S. is females, but women only hold 2% of the managerial jobs. They have not even reached the level of tokenism yet. No women sit on the AFIL or Seattle Council. You see, in politics, women are discriminated against. Your Honor, I wish to introduce today a policy that has been before the House for the last 40 years and sooner or later must become part of the basic law of the land, the Equal Rights Amendment. It is obvious that discrimination against women exists. We do not have the same rights that men do. And women who do not conform to what the accepted patterns are stigmatized as odd or unfeminine. When the fact is, women who aspire to be members of the board or members of the Congress do so for the exact same reason as any man. Basically, she feels as if she can do the job and she wants to try. A second argument often heard against the Equal Rights Amendment is that it would eliminate legislation enacted giving women more protection than men. That women need more protection than men is a